got the clue. How bad this we go? Don't you know? No more art. And as I look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then stormy weather's go too cold. Seems like a great thought out of nowhere, all around you is not what you foretold. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done, but the time is hit you, you're not surprised.
Oh boy, it's nothing like the classics. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newsroom and welcome to the Galtopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report, brought to you by SNORTBUCKS Coffee Company, the best beverage company. Follow them on Twitter. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. This is kind of a great day, and it's kind of sad too, because sadly we'll be parting ways after this. In the short term, hopefully. It might actually be a little longer than I expected, but we'll see. I have some stuff kind of already recorded that will come out periodically on this channel, hopefully until I get back. If not, there might be a hiatus where there just isn't anything, but or there might be just a brief period of time within my hiatus that there might be just nothing, but it shouldn't be too long. If nothing else, I'm sure someone here will go ahead and let you guys know in the community tab. Is that what you call it? Yeah, the community tab. I guess they'll let you know there. So that's a thing. For those of you on the second channel, as I've promised, I've got a whole cornucopia of stuff waiting for you over there. We've got condo tours. We have for the individual who's been asking, we have the fan request ridicule. I've got all that compiled and whatnot. That's all done. I have that for you guys. I have the Source video from beginning to end. I've got a whole bunch of nonsense waiting for you guys over there. So that should be cool. Also, a couple of requests that you guys have made. I'll be either just finishing them up or they're already done. And like I said, that'll come out periodically. But like I said, I'll have a video that'll go up that'll explain how all that'll work. But over here, it'll pretty much be this, the quarterly meeting, and then that'll be it. Then I'm on vacation, and yeah, well, hiatus, vacation. It's kind of a little bit of both. And like I said, some stuff should trickle out while I'm gone. So that is the thing. I really appreciate you guys kind of putting up with all this. Realistically, there should have been just a bunch of Snort reports that came out up until this point. But I had owed you guys these videos for a really, really long time, and you need to come through on what you owe. So that's why all of that time has been kind of diverted to doing this. But it was certainly worth it. It was certainly worth it. At least at the time that you guys are hearing this, this should be the last one, because the quartering interview should have came out already. The Richard from Review Tech USA interview should have came out. Spoonie, if I did the Spoonie video, that should already be out. Yeah, that's it. There's a bunch of stuff that's added on to this list. I got to be honest with you. I'll give you guys a quick run through, and then we'll get into what you guys are talking about. So, someone made a request to go over the low tier god laughing at a guy who committed suicide. That's on there. Yeah, that's fucking egregious. I need to actually see that. I'll actually just watch it with you. I'm not going to watch that beforehand, because that's probably just going to get me pissed off. Let's see here. There is a Jake James interview. Another Jake James interview he did with DSP we might go over. Let's see here. Mr. Huffstuff has the boss battle from Resident Evil 3. I definitely want to go over that. The puzzle boss, as they call it. Let's see, what else? I already did the video with DSP versus Triforce. I did it a while ago. I wonder why that's still here. I'll mark that off. There's a couple other things I have in the clip. But that'll just give you guys an idea of what's kind of going on with that. Anyway, that'll give you guys just an idea of what's going to come later on. And like I said, I'll at some point I'll start recording again. So when I come back, there'll be a kind of like a flush of content, and we can try to get back to where we were. But like I said, that'll probably be around the holidays, and we'll see. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to end up missing during that period of time, so we'll see. I'll talk to everybody here. We'll prioritize what we feel is important and what isn't, and we'll go from there. Either which way. But like I said, and like I try to always express to you guys, I very much appreciate, you guys just giving me the opportunity of just let me being heard and whatnot. Like I said, it wasn't perfect. Not that I strived for it to be so, but it was me. And it was the way that I felt the need to do it. And like I said, it might have been brash, certainly very egregious. Certainly, I've said some rather brutal shit. To be honest, I said what I said. I believed in it, so I said it. To be honest with you, so it is what it was. Outside of maybe a couple instances where I may have just really gone off the kilter a little bit. I stand behind what I say. And like I said, I'll take everything that comes with that. In any case, ladies and gentlemen, all pleasantries aside and whatnot, like I said, just thank you. I very much appreciate it. Now we get into something that I've already recorded, and it got vaulted, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here for the 341 call. Now, Jesus Christ. At the time the 341 call came out, I think we were fighting issues on the channel, so I just never got a chance to get to it. And we kind of all know about the fallout, but you guys haven't heard my opinion on it for whatever that's worth, so that's a thing. Also, I think that honestly, kind of the whole point of always being late, never breaking is you're getting like a second look, or you're getting a second listen, if you will, on the particular situation and or circumstance. I know that some people wonder, like, hey, a bunch of people have already done this, you know what I mean, like, why don't you just go ahead and catch up to what everybody else is doing, because that's just not what I do and whatnot. And I have so much already that I want to do, which is the reason why this whole list exists in the first place. So I just kind of hit everything on my time. End of story. Like I said, if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. Or if you've already seen it, then I'll be the first one to tell you, then don't watch it again. You know what I'm saying? If you don't feel the need that to watch it watch it twice, then just don't watch it. Like I said, you're not offending anybody by doing that. So, just don't put yourself through any more strain than you need to. That's why it's here. It'll always be here, at least for the most part anyway. So you can just come back to it at your leisure, but don't force yourself to watch anything because of whoever or whatever. Don't do that. You're not helping. I'll be perfectly honest with you. You're not helping me, and you're not helping yourself. And one of the biggest points that I try to make here is to try to help yourself. You know what I mean? The whole point of essentially all of this is, yeah, you're hearing my opinion, but I don't want you to make the same type of mistakes that Phil does. If you know what I'm saying? If you feel that I'm not going to be adding anything to the circumstance, then just don't watch it. Like I said, you're not going to hurt anybody's feelings by doing that at the end of the day. So just to put that out there, we're going to go ahead and watch this. I'll give you my hot takes on it. Like I said, we all know how it all fell apart, but there's a lot of holes in here too that I think that still could be explored. Even though we all know what the fallout of this is, the much bigger circumstance, which I've hinted at over this period of time, is still prevailing with the whole situation with the money. Basically, like, he asked for all this mysterious tax money that's gone. He asked for all this mysterious money for back taxes that is gone. Tax money's gone, back tax money's gone. Keep that in mind too. He asked for tax money, and he asked for back tax money. All that's vamoosh. Then on top of that, then you have the vest streak. If you add to that, all that's missing. There are just huge quantities of money, just ridiculous amounts of money that are gone. The money that his mom and dad forked up to put him on the payment plan, gone. All that money's gone, and he can't explain any of that shit. The Emerald 7 money's gone. The King Tut money's theoretically gone too, because that was all around the time he's trying to fight taxes. Keep all this in mind as you're listening to this. You're talking about tens of thousands of dollars just gone. If I don't know what the exact tally is, if you went ahead and took the King Tut money, Emerald 7 money, all of the begging money for fundraisers and charities, save the house, save my taxes, I don't know how much all that is, but I guarantee you it's probably quite a bit. It's certainly in the $70,000 or $80,000 mark. I'd like to tell you that I'm exaggerating too, but I'm really not. I think it's really up there. You put the vest streak on top of that too, and it becomes even more egregious. So there's a lot of money that he can't explain. Now, the first thing people will run to, and for good reason, is WWE champions, which is obviously a habit. It's obviously a problem. You can talk to Agent Proper, James the Lesser, go to Detractor Twitter, go to Kiwi Farms. They're all talking about that. They can get you up to date on it, because even I'm not fully up to date with that. But the point of all of that, of all of this, I should say, is that he had the means to pay down or at least pay off some of these creditors, and he didn't. They got away with it. Rip to that. But he had the money to do so. The point is now what my objective is essentially is to poke holes into the reasoning on why he got away with it. That's what we're looking for now, as best as I can. And like I said, I'll probably miss some stuff, but it is what it is. Like I said, this is kind of like it's kind of like the last day of work before vacation. You know, people get sloppy. I'll try not to, but it should be fun either which way. Ladies and gentlemen, yet again, just thank you for the opportunity. Let's go ahead and get into the situation, and let's have a good time with what little time we have left, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Snort Report, and this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG Network and Productions. You guys all know the slogan. I don't smell no bacon cooking. But you're about to get on that with the whole Birdman, the whole Birdman palm rubs. It is time, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to watch me work. Oh boy.
You never see it coming. You see that my mind is the best for eyes. You're done. But the time is hit you, you're not surprised. Think you got your game planned out. Do a deed, get 'em 2 steps ahead, yeah. So step into my way, stand out. It's a trap, one more step, and you're dead. Why just a bit a second ago with the sky, but now lightning like your last result. It's not an accident that no one hears your cries as your last dream seems to desert. You never see it coming.
Is in your office with you?
Yes.
Hey, Mr. Brunel, you there?
I am present.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to play this a little different than usual. I usually don't go full screen for the videos that I go over, but we're going to make an exception for this for 2 reasons. One, this is the first time this person is being featured on the channel. Hopefully not the last, but this is the first time this individual is going to be featured on the channel. And 2, they have the stream chat at the time, so it gives you guys kind of something to refer to. You guys can kind of join into the laughs, if you will. Actually, I will have 4 videos linked down below of this whole situation, by the way. So this should be a thing. So okay, here we go. So we are here with Ludwig World Order, DSP's 341 meeting with stream chat. This was posted on March 26th of 2020, our current year of gout. I will also have the Memology 101 version of it down below. I will have the Mr. Huffstuff version down below, and I will also have the person who brought all of this to us. Let's see, AN 1337, big ups to them. I'll have their version down there in the stream chat, or sorry, in the description below. And if I can find it, I believe he has like the post pre-stream as well as full stream for any of you guys who may be interested in that. I can also link that down below, or you can find that on their channel. But I'll leave the link certainly to their 341 call down in the description. Alrighty, cool. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Would you raise your right hand?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
State your full name, please.
Philip Paul Burnell.
Is your address still the same as the address on the petition?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? It cut out.
Is your address still the same as the address on your petition?
Yes, it is.
Now, Phil had this. I think Phil actually showed up in office, in his attorney's office for this. Even though the way the phone cuts out, it makes me feel like he actually just did this meeting over the phone. But whatever. He solemnly swore. He told Nancy that he was there in the office with his attorney, and he said he swore to everything that he was about to do. So it is what it is.
Did you prepare and file with the bankruptcy court a list of all of your assets and all of your liabilities?
Yes.
No, actually he didn't. We all know that. There's a lot of stuff that he left off for various reasons, but it is what it is.
Are those documents, including the petition, the schedules, and the statement of financial affairs, true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Are there any changes that need to be made?
No.
I mean, outside of all the changes he made leading up to this, I think he's probably as good as he's ever going to get. And yet again, he should be thankful to Detractor Twitter, Kiwi Farms, and detractors in general for that, because they were the one who pointed out his mistakes and then he turned around and fixed them. So just to give you an idea of how deep he was in it as it pertains to the detractor guilds that are going around, and how much attention he was, focusing on it. So who's living inside of whose head?
Filed these documents, did you read them?
Rent free, if you will.
Yes.
Sign them? Sign these documents?
Yes.
Received a copy of the bankruptcy information sheet.
Yes.
Read that document?
Yes.
You ever filed for bankruptcy before?
No.
Give him another 15 years. We'll see what happens then.
Are you required to make any domestic support payments to anyone?
No.
Tax return you provided to me, is that a true and correct copy?
Yes.
Are you still self-employed?
Yes.
What is that self-employment?
The company's name is Burnell Productions. It is internet content creation of on-demand and also live video streaming services.
The company name is Burnell Productions? Really? Okay. But that wasn't what that's not the company name for the second business line for his internet. Is it from Comcast? It's not called Burnell Productions. Isn't it called DSP Enterprises? Or Burnell Enterprises or some silly shit? Alright, whatever. And he provides streaming and on-demand services? Really? Okay. Oh, this is going to be funny.
Sign that again, please.
Sure. It's internet content creation of on-demand video and also live streaming video services.
Here, pauses this just because I'm making notes here.
Okay.
Who's subscribing to these services? Is you subscribing to his channel on YouTube? Is that a paid service? Does like everybody who subscribed to him on YouTube pay $5? Is that what that is? Is being that it's a paid service, right? That means the content is behind a paywall, right? And you can only access that content by paying for it, yeah? Or is he trying to say that he is the platform? Like, because the way he's wording it, it sounds like he's the actual platform that you have to pay to access the services that he provides. But that's not exactly the case. He puts content up on YouTube and on Twitch. It's free. You can do what you will with it. You have the option of paying for it, but it's on an open platform. It's very much an open market. So how are you providing streaming and on-demand services? Doesn't theoretically Twitch and YouTube provide the streaming and on-demand services? Okay, I'm just being an asshole about it.
I'm going to start basically at the beginning of your schedules and just kind of work through them. The first thing you have listed here is real property in Connecticut. Is that correct?
Now, real quick.
That's correct.
Real quick. I get the whole fugitive thing. It's funny. It's really, really funny, right? And it's all factually true, except the part about Phil running. We all know he's not capable of doing that. We know that. Like, I doubt he comes across to me as someone who would be winded just going out to his driveway, let alone being on a high-speed chase. That's not happening. That's not happening at all. And then, now that I think about it, speaking of high-speed chases, he couldn't even do that because he has his bad back, and if he drives too fast or too long in his car, he could hurt himself again and put other people at jeopardy. Oh well, that's what he tells us.
Correct. Yes.
When did you purchase this property?
Ooh, okay. I want to say it was roughly July of 2009, I believe.
What was the purchase price?
I want to say it was in the $135,000 range. I could be off by a bit there, but I believe that is correct.
Is the property currently rented?
No.
All of my money goes to bills.
Could you repeat that?
Is the property vacant?
It is vacant, yes.
The dead silence when she was like, yeah, are you renting out that property? No. She was probably like, what? He didn't say that, did he? Oh shit. So that's the first funny part. He said he bought it for about $135,000. It's probably, I think it was between $125,000 and $140,000. It doesn't really matter. But the point being is he got finessed into it and he ended up getting screwed out of it later. Well, he will get screwed out of it later. So that's a thing all in itself. But he owes what, $120K still on the damn thing, and he's been paying on it since 2009. Jesus Christ! Think about that. He has owned that. He didn't stop actually paying on the property till what? April of 2019. So for 10 years he owned that property and he was paying on it. And didn't put a dent into anything. Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Property insured?
To the best of my knowledge, yes. I have not, made a payment on it in quite some time, but I believe that it's still insured, through the mortgage companies. I think they've been paying it.
And when's the last time you made a payment?
It was either April.
Sorry, you cut out. I didn't hear that.
Are you what?
When was the last mortgage payment made on the Connecticut property?
April 2019. Jesus Christ, Phil, just say it.
I have the motion for relief if you want me to look at that and find the exact date.
No, I just want his recollection.
Oh, okay.
Do you recall when you made the last payment?
April or May of 2019. I believe it was probably April.
Yeah, it was right after he came back from his honeymoon with Kat. Here's the thing. This leads me to believe that he's not in that office with her, because why is there a delay? You know what I'm saying? Like, either you can hear what your attorney can hear, or if neither one of you have a problem hearing it because you guys are like on a three-way call, for example, or you're on like a conference call, then that's why there's the delay. Just my thoughts though. Dead air.
You also list real property in Renton, is that correct?
That's correct.
When did you purchase that?
That was purchased in June of 2014.
What was the purchase price?
I believe that was $265,000.
You lived there since you purchased it?
Yes, I have lived there since I purchased it.
So you jumped into you jumped out of a property that you still owed $100,000 plus, 120,000, let's say, 120,000 plus on, to jump into another property that you were going to end up owing 160,000 on. Oh boy, the decision making, ladies and gentlemen, is amazing. And now that I'm thinking about this, remember, the first 3 and a half years that he was in Renton, or he was in Washington, I should say, he didn't pay his state business and occupation tax, right? Which he's saying that he tells people now, according to current law, he owes like $10,000 plus on it, or whatever the case may be. I'm sure that's with fees accrued and stuff like that. But it's funny. Did he really think he was going to avoid the state and business occupation tax so he could put more money down on his house in Washington, so then he could eventually pull from the equity of his home in Washington to pay down his credit cards and even pay down this condominium in Connecticut later? Because that's something that people tend to forget about a little bit, is his initial plan, right, before bankruptcy. Because if you guys remember the lore, bankruptcy was a completely last-ditch effort. He was only going to do it if he really needed to, right? His initial plan was to borrow from the equity from his home, which he had been trying to do since he moved out there in 2014. Like, I think 2015 and 2016, you definitely can find it in like old Attractor videos. He talked about trying to borrow equity from his home. Shit, he was talking about that in 2017. And talking about how the bank won't let him, and he doesn't understand why they wouldn't. Because, well, one, you owe too much on the home in the first place. And most of the banks that the bank that actually holds the title to your home, right? The people you're paying your mortgage to, I should say. I want to say he's not stupid enough to have borrowed the business loans from the same place that's holding on to his mortgage. But let's say he did. If that's the case, they're looking at your credit report and be like, Jesus Christ, you owe all this money to all these different places. Why the fuck would we let you pull the equity from it? That doesn't make any sense. Whatever. We call it the Gowdy mind trick around here.
Are the mortgage payments current on this property?
Yes.
Anyone know what that beeping is?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm hearing a beeping. Are you hearing it on your end?
We call that detraction. We call that detraction destruction. It's a slow process. You'll get used to it.
I don't know. No idea what that might be. We'll hope it goes away. Is the property
That's funny.
insured?
That whole Gowdy mind trick that I just talked about, like just hoping your problems will go away. The gout is spreading, ladies and gentlemen. Phil's mental outlook on life, where if you ignore your problems, eventually they'll go away, apparently spreads to other people in Washington too. That's a terrible way of looking at it. Just go ahead and kill the call and then start over. You see this, you hear this beeping, right? You know that it's starting to get annoying. And instead of addressing it, oh, well, we'll just see if it goes away. Wow. Then again, they let him get away without paying his state business and occupation tax for 3 fucking years. Maybe Washington's the place to go. Maybe that's the lick. Maybe there's a reason why Phil didn't come to Texas, or he didn't go to Florida. Maybe because Washington State was just it was an easier place to get over on people. I don't know.
Yeah.
And is this a house or a condo? Mr. Burnell, is this a house or a condo? Hello? Burnell?
I'm telling you, I don't think he's in that office. Now, maybe he is there, and maybe they just have the trustee on hold while Phil's like, they're coming! They're coming! The distractors are coming! Help! It could be that. Or, like I said, these guys are on on a conference chat or like a 3-way chat or whatever, and he's basically telling his attorney they're coming. I told you they were coming! It's the detractors. It's Devin's fault! I'm telling you, he is scaring the shit out of his attorney right now. I guarantee you that's what Phil's doing. And that's the funny part. And yet it's kind of impressive that Phil's able to do that. Phil cannot instill trust into people, right? He can't, unless you're just under the pignosis, full blown. He can't really instill trust into people, but he is very good at instilling his fear and his paranoia onto people, or imprinting it onto people. He's very good at doing that. That's amazing. Well, his hoof print, you know what I mean? He's very good at doing that. That's ridiculous. Yikes.
Phil, are you there?
Nancy?
Yes?
Sorry, there's 60 people on the line for this call, so I think that's the problem.
Okay.
But we're back on.
Okay. You drop out and then...
But I don't that beeping's coming from.
Okay. Well, let's try and just keep going.
Okay.
So, Mr. Burnell, my question was, is this a house or a condo?
It is a condo.
You answer the question whether or not you have electronics, you say no. Is that a correct answer?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Your schedules indicate you have no electronics. Is that correct?
Oh, no electronics. Are you speaking of in regards to the business or in regards to my personal belongings?
Oh, I smell bacon cooking. I smell bacon cooking. We don't have any electronics, huh? Okay, fair enough. But remember, though, we provide streaming and on-demand services. But we don't own any electronics, though. Keep that in mind. Oh, delicious, delicious bacon.
This is your personal bankruptcy. So this is
There are electronics that are considered business assets, and then personal electronics would be in the household goods and furnishings section. I just kind of lump them together.
Okay, so let me go through some assets that some of your creditors have told me that you might own. And if you could tell me if they're personal or business and if you still have them. You have a PlayStation 4 Pro system.
That's correct. That is business related, and I do still have it.
Okay. About a standard PlayStation 4.
That is, I still own it. It is business related.
PlayStation 3.
Wait, can an item that you don't use, can you still claim it as business related if you don't use it, whether for business or personal use? Shouldn't something like that be wiped off the board altogether? Just asking. Just asking. Also, that PS4 Pro, someone else purchased that for him. Does that have any type of bearing on anything? Just wondering.
That is business related. I still have it.
Nintendo Wii.
Business related.
Nintendo Wii U.
Yes, business related. I do still own it.
Nintendo Switch.
Yes, business related, and I do still own it.
Xbox 360.
Yes, Xbox 360, business related, I do still own it.
Nintendo 3DS.
Wait,
Yes,
now that I think about it, the
business
Nintendo Switch too. Someone purchased that for him as well. Remember, because if you guys know the mythos or the lore, Phil's original Nintendo Switch bricked. He did an unboxing of it. It worked when he did the unboxing. Then he comes back the next day into the Snort studio, and all of a sudden it don't work. So, and then he cried and complained about how he wasn't going to be able to get day one views, yada, yada, yada. And then, excuse me, and he said that he also came up with some astounding lie about how if he takes it back to Best Buy, because I believe that's where he bought it. Yeah, it was either Best Buy or GameStop. I think it was Best Buy, though. If he takes it back to Best Buy, he wasn't sure if they would take it back. And he certainly wasn't sure if they would have a replacement for him. I mean, the replacement part, maybe, because it just came out and it sold really well. But they were more than likely going to take it. They were definitely going to take it back. If the damn thing don't work, the damn thing don't work. Just get your money back and move the fuck on. Anyway, he snorted angrily about it for many, many days. And then a loyal cuck basically bought it for him. That's basically what happened. Yet again, another gift, though. Another gift. Unless these people are investors in his business, because, it is a business now. That's a whole rigmarole in itself.
And I do still own that.
PlayStation Vita.
Yes, I do still own the PlayStation Vita, and it is business related, and I do still own it, yes.
PlayStation Virtual Reality.
Yes, I do still own the PlayStation Virtual Reality, and it is business related, and I have it.
Even though he only used the damn thing like once or twice, and it sat on his floor for many, many, many years. What a waste of money. Like, he did an unboxing for it, played a couple of games on it, and that was it. Even when people volunteered to buy games for the virtual reality system, oh, I can't do that, or there's already other games coming out, or the headset, the actual headpiece of the virtual reality makes his head sweat, so he didn't want to do that anymore. But then he has that gouty ear infection, that reoccurring gouty ear infection, so that's a thing all in itself. He just completely and totally wasted his money. One quick story, actually, that pertains to the virtual reality thing. I don't know if it was a Star Wars game or Star Trek. It might have been Star Trek. But someone was like, hey, I will send you $50 to play this game. Sorry, let me reword that. Phil said that there was a couple of VR games that he was interested in. One of them was, I think it was Star Trek. It was a Star Trek game or whatever. And he's like, I'm interested in playing it, but I don't have the money for it right now. They cost about $60. $50, $60. And someone in the chat was like, hey, I donated the money to him right then and there. And was like, hey, tipped him, if you will. Hey, I'm here. I'll tip you this money. Go ahead and get the game because people will like to see you review it. Hey, man, thank you for donating this money to me. I very much appreciate it, and I'm sure people do really want to see me play that game. But I got all these other financial obligations right now, and I really need to use whatever money that I get to cover my financial obligations. And then he adds this little caveat. Also, when you tip me, I choose what to do with my money. So you can't tip me and tell me to do something with it. Do it for or use it for a specific reason. It's my money. once you tip it to me, I'll do what I will with it. So the guy tips him another 50 and is like, oh, hey, Phil, I'm sorry. I just thought it would be, a good idea to do this. And, I thought it would be good for the community or for, for the stream or whatever. My apologies. I didn't mean to offend you. Yada, yada, yada. Phil was going to gloat about it until the chat got on his ass and was like, the fuck are you doing, Phil? Like, you just bitched and complained about how you wanted to play that game, and now you're going to sit here and dictate this shit to him? So then Phil's like, all right, hey, man, it's no problem. But, you know what? It was kind of messed up with me. You were just trying to be, nice about the situation. I'll refund you your money back. Give me a second, and I'll go ahead and do it. And then the guy tips an additional $50 on top of that. We're up to $150 now. Saying, no, don't worry about it, Phil. Just go ahead and keep the money, man. Go ahead and, use it for whatever you need to use it for. Are you sure? You sure? Greedy snort. Are you sure? You okay with that? Greedy sniff. Okay, man. Hey, man. I appreciate anything that's given to me and whatnot, and I'm sure people really want to see me play this game, but I really need to use it for some of the financial obligations that I need to square away. But thank you anyway, though. I really appreciate it. That's how he finessed $150 out of this dude on some stupid shit for a fucking for some peripherals that he didn't even give a damn about anyway. You know what I mean? After the initial after the initial enthusiasm of unboxing it and everything, it lost all value to him. So when he finessed this person, or this person finessed themselves, I call it finessing because that's what Pignosis is. It's just him finessing people. After he finessed the shit out of this person through Pignosis, and then the chat got on his ass, then he was willing to go ahead and give the guy the money back, and then the guy comes through and gives him another 50 and tells him to keep it. Jesus Christ. Goddamn, dude.
You have a computer? Whoever's making the beeping sound, if you please stop.
Oh, now it's a problem, huh? Don't worry, honey. You're just gonna... There's more to come.
I do have a business-related computer, yes.
Home computer?
I'm sorry, could you...
Home computer?
Oh, no, I do not have a home-related computer. No, it's just a business-related computer.
Watch me work. Phil Burnell, as far as I know, has 5 PCs and 2 laptops. Now, hear me out. If a dead console, or if consoles that aren't being used because they barely work, like the PS5, for example, if he can sit there and claim that as business-related, and he still owns it, then fuck all with this bullshit, and now we're going to play the game I want to play. 5 PCs, 2 laptops. He has an HP laptop. It's either silver or gray. He had it back when he was in Connecticut. He still owns that PC. He has that. He has an Acer. He has a black Acer pre-built PC as well that he's also had since he was in Connecticut. He has the custom PC that Chris and Teo built. He has the CyberPower PC, which he's currently using. The $3,000 Lemon. And then he has another PC. It's I think it's another Acer that he also had back in Connecticut. It used to be his primary PC when it was in his living room, and then he ended up replacing that with the PC that Chris and Teo built. The HP PC that I just mentioned to you guys, he ended up replacing that with another Acer later on down the line. That's the one that was in his bedroom, right where the black cat bust is. It's on that desk. Now we have 2 laptops. He has an Alienware laptop which he bought like refurbished, or it was open box. It was 1 to 2. And then he has another laptop on top of that. That might be the one that he's currently using now, which I don't think he brought that brand new either. I think he actually bought that open box as well, which is weird that he would feel the need to do that when he could clearly afford buying it brand new. Whatever. Semantics. So, theoretically, ladies and gentlemen, we have 7 PCs available at his leisure, open to whatever the situation is. Now, I'm not done yet. He says it's all business related. Well, what do you use to pay your personal bills? What do you use to pay your utility bills? What do you use to pay your cable bills? What do you use to budget out groceries and stuff like that? That's not business related. You don't live in an office. So how do you organize and navigate through all of those things? How are you playing that game, Phil? Which, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, goes back to an old Ask the King, where he talked about how he writes off certain stuff as business related. Don't be surprised if many years down the line that you find out that he has been writing off probably grocery bills. He's probably been writing off cell phone bills. He's probably writing off a bunch of stuff as business related, or he's looping it all into that. That was certainly one of the things I was talking to. I don't know if I was talking to Ghostly Winds about that, or if I was talking to James the Lesser about that, as it pertains to how he was looping his bills together. But the next time I get a chance to speak to Agent Proper and Declan Reed, big ups to all of them, I'll certainly bring that up.
You have an iPad?
I do. It is very old and not functional.
But so supposedly so are all those PCs that I named as well. But those don't exist. But yet this iPad is a thing. Now, most of you are probably like, well, come on, GTG, that's what she named. She didn't actually call out the rest of that stuff, and maybe that's the reason why he didn't disclose it. Well, isn't he supposed to be fully honest about his circumstance as it pertains to the 341? If they're not functional or if they don't work, then what's the problem about just saying so? Yeah.
Hey, explain to me how you decide if it's business related or your personal property.
Sure. Anything that I say is business related is used solely for the purpose of my internet video content creation or my live streaming. I broadcast video games all day, 6 days a week, and so everything that I just listed is used as a device to broadcast gaming.
Okay. Who purchases the various gaming pieces?
I do.
Really?
Personally?
You purchased that Nintendo Switch. You purchased that PS4 Pro. You purchased those extra controllers. You're the one who purchases those games. Oh. Oh. So the Amazon wish list, right? All of those people who sent him games directly or sent him game codes, those are all purchased through him though, right? So doesn't that make all those people who contribute to his business for him to purchase the peripherals and stuff like that, the games and all those things, doesn't that make them investors theoretically? Because he's not he's saying that he bought them, so he's not claiming them as gifts.
Yes.
Does the business have a separate business bank account?
No.
Oh, whoa. Yeah, well, it's not really a bank account. It's an account. Well, do you consider PayPal? I gotta think about that, because I want to say he's lying, because there's two PayPal accounts, and that's how he runs his business financing through. That's where the money that he's able to raise ends up going. That's where all the business capital, I should say. Let me ponder on that for a minute. I'm gonna say he's lying though. But see, this is kind of the problem too with bleeding his personal shit with his business shit. You see what I'm saying? Maybe that's what his attorney meant to do, but you can see how there's problems. That's the reason why a 5-minute call turned into 45 fucking minutes. But it's the detractor's fault though. Remember that.
Does the business file its own tax return?
I'm not sure how.
Well, it looks like they are. Do you file a
No,
separate
he
tax?
don't. He doesn't file his business taxes separate from his personal tax. And which is crazy too. Now that I think about it, so when DSP does his filing, he basically writes everything off as business expenses, essentially, right? But he doesn't have anything to separate what he owes in personal tax and his business tax. He just kind of loops it all together because he believes he's a personal business, or he's a business owner. At the same time, if you see how he orchestrates himself throughout the year, he doesn't run it like a business, not even close. And here's the thing: how is he that is an even better question, because how is he actually doing his taxes, and what is he writing off as business expense and what's personal expense when he uses tips that is generated through his business to buy stuff for his home? But when stuff is donated to his business, he doesn't write that stuff off as business, he doesn't write that stuff off as gifts, as he probably should, amongst other things. So yet again, that's an interesting point.
Return for the business, or is it all in your personal?
I just do one tax return, so it must be
Okay.
my personal. Yes.
So your business is included on your personal tax return?
Yes.
Do you own or have any access to any online gaming packages?
If you mean like subscription-based gaming services, yes.
Correct.
Yes.
He should have said that. He should have let her clarify to him what her meaning was.
And tell me how those work as far as ownership.
How does that work as far as ownership? Was that the question?
Yes.
They're all personally in my name. Connected
And here's
with my
another thing
own
too. Now that I think about that, outside of the fact that he should have let her clarify what the question was, what is WWE Champions? Is that considered a subscription service? And if so, why didn't they see when she asked for the well, you'll see eventually. She's going to ask for the financial records for both of his PayPal accounts. Why didn't she see this large fucking hole where WWE Champions should be? And on top of that, I have another question. So he had 13 or 14 credit cards, right? I don't know if the court accessed the credit card history of each of those credit cards, but if they did, I bet you they'll find WWE Champions on there somewhere. Now, obviously, they obviously didn't look, but if they had, he would have been blown the fuck up out of the water, because he'd have to explain what that is. Because, what is it, Scopa? Their service, which is WWE Champions, and then what WWE does for WWE Network are two separate things. He can't sit there and try to say that's all one package. That's two separate entities. And I bet you somewhere on that PayPal, or on those PayPals, that shit popped up. Because how else is he flushing his WWE account, or his WWE Champions account? How else is he funding it? He has to be doing it through a credit card or a debit card or something. And yeah, it's very possible that he's moving money into, when money comes into one PayPal account, he's moving it to another one, and then he's moving it to his own personal bank account. That's possible, but then that never popped up here either. I have so many questions. And now that I think about it, I don't think it did, but I don't think his personal bank account popped up, because if it had, and the reason why I'm bringing that up is because when he gets paid through PayPal, doesn't he send the money to his personal bank so he can pay his mortgage? So then why didn't they ask for his actual bank statements? And if so, I bet you they would find something there as well. Maybe.
No online accounts, and they are all business related in order to play video games online. Many of these services are required in order to actually play games in a multiplayer capacity.
How many
And to purchase those set games as well, for some of them.
Off the top of my head, I would say at least 3. I know that there's one for Nintendo, there's one for Xbox, and there's one for PlayStation. There may be more if I actually were to, dive deep, but I believe those are the 3 main ones.
How much does each of them cost?
Oh, man. This is just an estimate. I would assume each one roughly costs around $50 a year there, because I don't have the information in front of me, but I certainly could, break that down at a later date.
So they're about $50 a year?
Yeah, that's what I would estimate, yes.
Why wasn't he required to have that information up front? I mean, yet again, there are aspects of your business. Like if she was to say, excuse me, Mr. Brunel, how much money do you spend each and every month on games? Or how much did you spend on games on this set month, on this particular month? He should be able to answer those questions, given the severity of his situation and what he has on the line. You know what I mean? Like, based on these questions, apparently, will determine whether you get granted your bankruptcy or not. This is information you should have in front of you. What the fuck was him or his attorney doing? Oh, well. Maybe the legal system isn't as professional as I think. I don't know.
Oh, please.
Okay.
Originally, you listed only one bank account with Bank of America. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And I think you filed an amendment where you listed a PayPal account.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So
Two
tell me,
PayPal.
Wait. Okay, so he has one bank account that we know of with Bank of America. All right, fair enough. You don't have a checking account with them, dude? Like, well, actually, she said bank account, so that could obviously be diverted off into savings, checking, so on and so forth. So let me not jump the gun too much on it. All right, so he still has it, and he had a couple of credit cards through Bank of America too, if I remember correctly. And yet again, he's running PayPal through that. So here's my question. He listed one PayPal account as well. Okay, as well as with his Bank of America account. Does he only have one PayPal account linked to that Bank of America account? And then the second PayPal account, which we all know he has, he's sitting there funneling that. Let me reword this. All right. We know he has 2 PayPal accounts, and we know for sure that he does his banking through Bank of America, on top of the 1 or 2 credit cards he had with Bank of America. But let's go ahead and move the credit cards to the side. Is it possible? Is it plausible that Phil gets money? Well, Phil gets money through both PayPal accounts. We know that. There are plenty of detractors who've already broken that down. But he gets money through one PayPal account, funnels it into another PayPal account, and then sends that to his bank account with Bank of America. Just keep that all in mind. But here's the problem. Phil has admitted many times in the past that he has a PayPal credit card, which he can basically spend the money for his tips and stuff through that. Or even the money that's paid to YouTube or PayPal, or from YouTube or Twitch. He can spend that money directly through that PayPal account once that money comes in. So I have 2 questions. One, why isn't his YouTube money or his initial PayPal money, meaning for like cheers and subs, why isn't that going directly into his Bank of America account? Probably because he owes so much money on the credit cards that he has with them. And why are you just not using your PayPal accounts to pay your bills? Like, pay your obligations directly. What's the point of that Bank of America, that Bank of America bank account is what I'm trying to say. What's the point of all that? It sounds like it's not necessarily needed. it sounds like it's not necessarily needed. Obviously, he needs a fucking bank account, but it doesn't sound like he's using it for anything. And now to think about it, I don't have the actual paperwork in front of me, but didn't one of those PayPal accounts have like $600 in it? But Phil says he don't keep money in his accounts because they got to go straight to bills. But it would be smart for him to keep money into that in that account, or at least in one of those accounts, because at the time he only had listed one PayPal account. Because if he gets chargebacks, then he doesn't have to worry about it freezing his goddamn account. I got more questions than answers, really. I got way more questions now. Alright, let's continue.
How your PayPal account works.
PayPal is an online currency system where people can send funds digitally, and they're held in a virtual. It's not technically a bank account, but it's a virtual
It is a bank account, though. Like it is a bank account. Like they're like it is a bank account. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like theoretically, your PayPal account is a bank account, especially if it can accrue interest, which it can. Oh boy.
Which can then be used to make purchases online. There's a debit card system. The way it works is, as I am creating content, people willingly decide whether or not they want to contribute to help me to continue to create content.
Why would you word it that way? Remember, you're supposed to be providing a on-demand as well as streaming service. Why would you say that people are willingly donating money to me? Why, or contributing, whatever? Why would you say it that way? It doesn't sound good saying it like that. People willingly giving me money. Like, the fuck, dude? Oh, why didn't his attorney prompt him on some of this shit? She couldn't know all the questions, don't get me wrong, but she might have known most of them. I feel like these are standard questions that are asked of people, you know, who go through bankruptcy. So goddamn, why didn't she prep him a little bit?
We'll go to what I call my PayPal tips page online, and they submit funds via my PayPal account in order to contribute to the business.
What did you call that? PayPal what account?
Tips page. That's what I call it, a PayPal tips page. It's just an online website address where people can contribute monetary funds over the internet as a way of basically saying, you know, we like the content you create and we want you to continue to do it, so here's, you know, some funds to help doing it. Now, in addition to that, I received payment from two different companies. One is called Twitch.tv, the live streaming service company. The other is YouTube, which I'm sure you've probably heard of. That's on-demand video services. And on both of those companies, I either upload content or I live stream content, and I make revenue via those services via various methods, advertisements and other kinds of contribution. And they monthly send me a deposit via PayPal for whatever I have earned in that month. So that's why there's two PayPal accounts. One is for kind of crowdfunding contributions from people who like what I do. The other is from two actual companies who pay me online for my work.
Okay. So these crowdfunding, would be considered like someone wants to give you a gift and that's how they give it to you?
Yes, from my understanding from speaking with my tax attorney, a charitable contribution, it would be the same as if someone went to a restaurant and you were a waiter or waitress or a bartender and did a good job.
No, you don't crowdfund your fucking waiter or waitress when you go to a restaurant, dude. I don't sit there and give them 30% and be like, here you go, I'm crowdfunding your efforts to continue to serve people. What the fuck? That's not crowdfunding. And why does he continue to make this analogy that what he does, it's oh my God. Okay. Okay, hold up. Oh, let me get it together. Oh my God. First off, I don't understand this fucking facade that he has where what he does is like what waiters and waitresses do. It's not like you going to your Subway and or whatever, Jimmy John's or whatever you like, right, for sandwiches or whatever your mom and pop shop of choices, and they do a great job and you tip them like $2 or $3 in the tip jar and shit. That what you do, Phil, and what that is are two separate things. Just like like with your waiters or waitresses and shit, same concept, but yet again, it's not the same. So why would you apply the same type of logic to something like that? That doesn't make any sense. And that in people contributing contributions to you, right? Willingly, let's remember the wording now, willingly, and then crowdfunding theoretically is two separate things. Because with crowdfunding, that right there goes to achieving a goal, right? You have set some type of benchmark to you've set some type of benchmark or some type of goal, right? And here's the amount, and people crowdfund to help you reach that goal. Whereas you being tipped, right, is just that, you being tipped. Someone thinking you did a good job and they decided to go ahead and give you a little extra. There's a difference between the two, right? Like fundamentally, he theoretically tried to merge that into all that in one. If that's the case, then what about charity? What about fundraising? Does that all fit into that exact same category as well? Does he not garner tips through charity because he needs certain stuff, or through fundraising? That doesn't make it crowdfunding, then, does it? Or do we consider crowdfunding, charity, and donations the exact same thing? These are the questions why aren't these questions being asked? Because outside of the charity and donation part, because he hasn't said that yet, what he's trying to what's the word? Literally what he's trying to snort together are two separate things under two separate scenarios. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Someone said, "Oh, I really like the job you did," so they would give the person a tip. So it's the same premise with me. If I'm doing a really live stream, or if I put out on people really enjoy, they have the completely optional ability.
You're breaking up. Please repeat what you just said. You just broke up.
Okay. Per my tax attorney, PayPal tips are basically considered like a tip that you would leave at a restaurant. So if you have a good bartender or a good waiter or waitress, you would leave them a tip. That's exactly what my PayPal tips page is. If I'm doing a good live stream for the day, or if I put out on-demand video content that people think is good, they will optionally and willingly send me a tip.
Why are you saying that, though? Why are you saying optionally or willingly? Why are you trying to make it... You're making it sound a bit more egregious than what it initially needs to be. I think she understands how the fuck a tip works. Here's the problem. He's still trying to push the narrative of tipping and crowdfunding as being the same damn thing. That's where his problem is. That's why he keeps throwing in this whole willingly and optional. It's optional as willing to, or they're willing to do these type of things. He's trying to do it to not pass it off like, what is it? Essentially fear-mongering, which is what Phil usually does. Hey, if you guys don't give me money, I can't keep doing this. And I can't keep putting out product. I'm making him sound like a drug dealer, but theoretically Pignosis is a drug. Darksydephil. But if you guys don't do this, I can't do this. He's not being, obviously he'd be stupid if he told her that's what he does. But he's basically trying to shoe fit that tipping and crowdfunding are the same damn thing, and they're really not. And you using buzzwords like willingly or they have the option of doing such and such isn't helping your case. It's just making her, or at least it should have made her more suspicious.
That's how it works.
Okay. I'm looking at the PayPal.
But then that goes back to something I've been saying for a while. He gets paid to beg. He doesn't get paid to do what he's doing. Like his income comes from begging. Because he says ad revenue was next to nothing on YouTube, right? What does that mean? That means nobody's watching. right? Or, you know what I mean? Almost nobody's watching. So that right there is obsolete all on its own. It means nothing because he doesn't have the fanfare there to make the money he needs to make a living off of, or for it to even be even remotely pivotal in any type of way, shape, or form. You've heard him plenty of times downplay how much money YouTube makes him these days and how, you know, it's all fanfare and it's all fan service and whatever. So let's go ahead and scratch that. So then on Twitch, what does he do? He plays video games and that's it. And he depends on people to give him money, right, to keep going. Well, then he doesn't make money streaming. Then he doesn't make money streaming by the act of streaming. He makes money by begging. Streaming the video games are just a facade. It's just a thing. It allows him to be categorized and gives him a level of air quotes legitimacy. But in actuality, he begs. And that's how he makes his money. If that's not clear here, I don't know how anybody could ever make it any clearer. Because he doesn't have a contract with Twitch saying that, hey, when you punch in, we're going to pay you a certain amount a week if you stream a certain amount of time. That's not how that works. He has the option of running ads. He don't. I think he does have an ad when you initially come on and when he leaves. But in that whole pre-stream, that 30-something minutes or whatever that case may be, more often than not, he should be running ads as many times as he can. And when he takes his break, which is what, 20, 30 minutes, he should be running ads between that shit too. Other streamers do it. I'm not saying the whole 20 or 30 minutes, but you know what I mean? Hit those guys with 5 minutes worth of ads. He don't do that. So yet again, how is he making his money then? Through begging. Right?
Have sent me. One has Twitch Interactive Incorporated, sends you a check, and then it looks like that same amount goes out, says instant withdraw to debit card. How does that work?
Yes.
Wait, what?
What is it?
So Twitch Interactive sends you a check, and as soon as that money comes in, it immediately, keep in mind what she said, that money immediately goes out into a debit card. Why are you in such a hurry to move your money, Phil? What are you worried about? You think did he think he was beating chargebacks like that? And here's the thing, for Mr. I always win my chargebacks, no one has ever beaten me in anything. Why are you in such a hurry to get your money up and out of there? Oh, because you don't want that shit, you don't want that account to get frozen and you can't do shit about shit. That's what that issue is. Which means that he fights chargebacks all the time. And I bet you anything he has to give up a decent amount, maybe not a hefty amount, but a decent amount of money to do so. But wait a second though. That right there contradicts what I just told you guys a little bit earlier about on that 341 sheet when it said that one of those PayPal accounts had like $600 in it. So did you just not pull the money out that day when you sent your sheet in? Or what was that about?
The PayPal account, and then I put it into my bank account via the debit card. It's an instant transfer, so that way I can use it, for bills and other things.
Okay.
But couldn't you use your PayPal debit account to pay bills too? I mean, yeah, you can pay it online, and over the years you've been able to use it, your PayPal debit account, to pay more and more things online. But couldn't he use that to pay the cable bill, the light bill, his cell phone bill?
Patreon, that is a third-party website where people can pledge a monthly pledge to my Patreon account. It's, again, considered crowdfunding or fundraising. You can find
there where he finally used the buzzword for, or not buzzword, but he finally uses fundraising. Yet again, his previous example of tipping and crowdfunding isn't accurate. It's just not. Matter of fact, he should have just left the tipping as tipping. When she started to make her inquiries about Patreon, then he should have brought crowdfunding into that. Like I said, it's all begging. That's how he makes his money, ladies and gentlemen. He makes his money begging. He doesn't have a set contract with any of these people. He has to do on YouTube. He has to do something to be paid, right? He has to put videos online. Those videos need to be have to be interacted with for it to generate money, which he doesn't have a lot of interaction. He pulls what, 700,000-800,000 views a month? That's it? What is that? $2,000? A little more, a little less. I don't know what a CPM is. Talk to like LSB or something. I'm sure he'd know. But like, so what is that? $2,000, give or take? A little more, a little less. So that's the money for YouTube. On Twitch doesn't have a situation set up with him directly that, hey, you come onto our site, you clock in, and we're going to pay you such and such amount each month, like with a Dr. Disrespect, like a Dr. Loophole, like a Ninja or a Shroud or a Tim the Tat Man or anything like that. He doesn't have a deal like that. The contract that he has signed is an exclusivity deal where he can't stream on multiple sites except for Twitch. That's it. Outside of that, you come on our site, be a good hoe, and start dancing, and whatever money you generate, we're going to get a piece through subs or bits. He's the one who gets all the tips. And he has to generate enough interest to convince people to give him the money to be tipped or be cheered or to get subs, right? Is that not begging? He essentially has to beg people to do that? Yeah, there are people who will willingly come in and do it, but most of those people who do it, if not all of them, to be honest, outside of the trolling, of course, do it because they know how bad his financial situation is, and he's had to beg to them before. So, yet again, they're just going along with the pignosis. Is that, yet again, ladies and gentlemen, not just begging? I don't know. I do know, but, whatever.
That's the website that I use. And it's optional. Again, if people like the content that I'm putting out, they can pledge some money to my Patreon as a monthly subscription service to me every month.
Okay, what is WWE Network?
You hear the hesitation?
What is WWE Network?
WWE
Oh,
Network.
WWE Network. That is just an
Now, I want you to think about this just for a minute. Remember how I made that earlier, that earlier dig about letting a problem go on and see if it sorts itself out? If she had said WWE Champions, let's say as a slip, right? Let's say she got an email that morning and that came up by, a good Samaritan. And maybe she accidentally let that slip, right? Not thinking that WWE Champions and WWE Network are the exact same thing, and just ran with that. What was Phil going to say? Under oath? What was Phil going to say to that? Because if you hear right here, sorry, you can tell that he immediately clammed up the moment she said WWE. He immediately clammed up. Now, remember, ladies and gentlemen, the mythos is that that's not his account. That's somebody else. He gave up mobile games a long-ass time ago. Despite the fact that when him and Kat got married in April of 2019, he admitted to buying 2 data packages on the plane so they could play mobile games there and back. But semantics. So why is it that you got so quiet the moment you heard WWE? Anyone? Anyone at all? It's okay, I'll wait.
Video service for watching, professional wrestling. That is not business related.
Okay.
But if he was still doing Smart Guys with him and John, everybody knows John, everybody loves John, would it have been considered business related then? And if so, how would he have justified that?
You've provided me a copy of your PayPal account for 1 month. I would like to see the last 6 months of both of your PayPal statements.
Very good. It should have been 12 months though, but 6 months will do.
No, it's gonna happen.
What's the problem?
You want the 6 months of both PayPals?
Yes.
Okay, I think I have
Both
that,
PayPals.
actually.
I think she only said one, didn't she? He's only disclosed one PayPal account up to this point. Right? Ladies and gentlemen, if I've missed something, because I tend to do so, and whatnot, then, my apologies. But up to this point, we've only spoken about one PayPal account, right? And we only spoke about one bank account, right? With Bank of America. But Phil's attorney, or lawyer, or whoever, said, oh, you want both PayPal accounts? Now, we already knew about that second PayPal account. There's actually a theory going around that there's possibly a third, and it very well could be. Now, let me go ahead and clarify real quick. When we say that there's two PayPal accounts, the initial PayPal account, the one that he's used for a number of years, is at Darksydephil@hotmail.com. He's had that one since like 08, 09. If any of you guys have been with me at any period of time, you've heard me go over that, whether on this channel or on the Fight Club channel. Now, the second PayPal account, which came out during, I saw Tevin go over it, praise be. I saw Tevin go over it for the, I think that was for the statue situation. The 6K. I think the $6,000 over that statue situation. Tevin had pointed out that Phil was when the guy asked, hey, what PayPal account should I send it to? The PayPal account was at DSPGAMING@hotmail.com. And Tevin had, yet again, pointed out that, oh, this guy has a burner PayPal account. So he's got two, for sure, confirmed. And there's possibly a third. There could possibly be a third one out there. But yet again, up to this point, they only asked about one account, not two. Uh-oh. Pig grease kind of is slipping a little bit.
Do you just, I wasn't sure if you needed all of that, but I'll send that over.
Yeah, oftentimes I don't, as you know, but this one I want to see the last 6 months.
Okay.
Now, where were the detractors at that fucked all this up, ladies and gentlemen? You heard it right there first. Oh, well, I didn't know I was going to need that. Yeah, I only asked for, I usually don't ask for that. But in this particular case, though, yeah, I want all that. I want all that. Now, if Phil's lawyer didn't say shit, it probably would have been just the one PayPal account, and then that would have been the end of that. She accidentally let it come out the bag, or come out of the grease pan, that there's two of them, and she's like, yeah, I want 6 months on all that, on both of them. And you can tell that Nancy, who's the trustee, I believe, is already highly suspicious of this nonsense. Highly suspicious of this nonsense. So she's like, yeah, you make all that happen. Right away. When you, and I, like I said, I don't even know how far we're through this yet, but it's amazing that the suspicion, all the red flags are there. You know what I mean? All the red flags are there. And yet, nothing came out of it. Maybe because it was too much of a rabbit hole that make it even worthwhile. Maybe Phil's comes across as just pathetic enough to just let him go. Maybe, what we end up finding out later, that a lot of the creditors didn't even fight the shit. They were like, fuck it, just get it off of our books. Like I said, pig luck, ladies and gentlemen. It does exist.
You indicate that you have a business of Brunel Productions, is that correct?
That is correct.
And is this considered a corporation or a sole proprietorship? What is it?
I believe it's a sole proprietorship.
Actually, John, because I think when we filed, you weren't sure.
It's not. I know it's not a corporation. I believe it's sole proprietorship.
Are you entitled to a tax refund for 2019?
No.
But yet he's entitled to tax breaks, though? Just being a dick. Just being an asshole about it. Oh, shit.
2019? I don't recall which year you sent me.
Have you filed 2009? I sent 2018. Have you filed your 19 yet?
Oh, yes, I have. In fact, I sent the final information within the last week, but my tax attorney notified me that due to this coronavirus situation that everything's being delayed and it's not available yet, but I certainly could provide that, when it is available.
Wait,
Okay, so
here's another thing too. So, do you have your 2019 filing? Oh, I just did it, but my tax attorney or whoever it is that prepares my taxes says they can't because of coronavirus. That's understandable. Did you file a 2018? I did. But hasn't he told us he hasn't paid taxes in like 2 years? So my question is, is that not a concern and or another red flag that the individual who's filing for bankruptcy hasn't paid federal or state and business tax in at least 3 years? Is that not a thing? Whether it's positive whether it's in his favor or whether it's not, why is that not a thing that's being brought up here? Maybe it's not necessary. Maybe it's not needed. I'm asking because I don't know. So, but I just thought I'd put it out there.
Say you sent it. Who did you send it to?
My tax attorney.
And here's the other thing. Why are they not asking him, why do you have a tax attorney? Why is that not a question being brought up?
You list business assets of $1,500. Is that correct?
Yes.
We went through the list of the various gaming machines that you have. Is that included in your business assets?
Yes.
That's a lie. Between all of the game consoles, his TV, and his PC and his laptop, is worth more than $1,200. Oy.
So it's your testimony then that the business machines that we went through that you indicated were all business assets, such as your various PlayStation machines. If you were to liquidate those, the value would be $1,500.
Sure. If I were to liquidate them today, estimating, a ballpark value like a, garage sale or sell them immediately, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Most of the stuff there, like the computer, is very old. It's over 6 years old.
It doesn't matter. Someone who's has even the basic knowledge of PCs could go in, gut that bitch, and ramp that shit the fuck up with little to no problem. Little to no problem. You know what I mean? And then on top of the fact that, oh wow, you own Darksydephil's $3,000 lemon, and you paid. I paid $300 to $500 for it. You know what I mean? Intact. I pay for that. Easy, no problem. Gut the shit out that bitch. I got the shit out of that bitch and whatnot, and then add DSP's business cards, or well, I'd have to print it out, but print out DSP business cards and sell and flip that shit out on eBay and make all my money back and some. Oh shit! Oh, you can make a lot more money than that. Just because he can't sell anything doesn't mean other people can't.
And the only business you have is Brunel Productions?
That is correct.
What about DSP Enterprises or Brunel Enterprises or whatever the hell that shit's called with that he has linked up to his business accounts with Comcast? What about that? Because they weren't called Brunel Productions. I think it was like DSP Enterprises or some shit. Or Brunel Enterprises. Actually, now that I think about it, since there's so much dead air going on, there is actually an old Argent video that he actually goes over that. It's also in the oh my god. It's either in the worst moments of 2002. I think it's in top 10 worst moments of 2017, which, as you know, that was the artist formerly known as Secret Life, formerly known as The Secret Life of DSP, now known as just Secret. I think it's in his 2017 top 10 worst moments where that's brought up. I think he actually grabbed the segment from Argent talking about it and brought that up. I'm pretty confident.
How much do you make on a monthly basis from YouTube?
From YouTube, that varies greatly. It could be as low as, I think the lowest month, maybe $500, but it could be very high as well, depending on the time of year, because YouTube ad revenue fluctuates.
Wait,
it could be as
so
high
you're
as
willing to tell her how little you've made, but you're not going to tell her how much what the highest amount you've made? Or at least something that's a bit more, let's see, not standard, but consistent. You're not willing to tell her that? I might have jumped the gun a little bit. We'll see.
Over $1,000. So really, I would have to crunch some numbers to give you an average.
Okay, you broke up there a bit. My understanding is your testimony is between $500 and $1,000 a month, depending on the month.
Sure.
Okay.
That sounds about correct for an average, yes.
Okay. How about Twitch? How much do you make on a month from Twitch?
I would average, let's just say between 3,000. It could be a little higher or a little lower, but that's average.
About 3,000.
Yeah.
3 to 4.
It doesn't even really matter, because once they go back and look at his PayPal statements, they'll know exactly what he made and what he didn't. I doubt he's ever made $500 off YouTube. I don't buy that for not a goddamn second. Not that low. Low, I'm sure, but not that low. Him slipping under $1,000 a month off YouTube would be, I would doubt it. Big X to doubt on that.
How about Streamlabs?
Streamlabs, that's a program that I used to stream, but I don't make revenue from that.
How much do you make each month from Patreon?
At this point, I would say about between $300 and $400 a month.
About Teespring?
Teespring, that is the t-shirt company. I make very little, maybe at most $100 a month, but usually it's much less than that.
You provided to me, looks like summaries might be considered a profit and loss. It talks about net profit / loss calculations. You have various columns here. I just want a little bit of explanation. Obviously, the first one is self-explanatory. You have the month. The next column, you list profit / income growth. What is that?
Profit, income, gross, that would be before any kind of expenses were taken out of it. It's just the gross income for that month.
Do you mean where does the income come from, like the different?
Well, I think you'll understand as we go on, so I understand this. Then you say expenses total, and then you say, and in a separate column you have just business expenses. What's the difference between those two, and how do you calculate them?
I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I believe what you're referencing is that
It's
oh, is it right in front of you?
Yeah.
So I believe I broke it down so that in one case it would be all the money that I make, the gross profit minus the business expenses. Then the other case was showing in regards to all of my personal debts, including the payments that I was making on things like credit cards and things like that. I think from the top of my head, I think that's what you're speaking of.
So when I did the Beans test, I only used the business figures, and then the personal would be what's on the INJ. or the J, like regular living expenses.
Okay. What do you consider a business expense?
Anything relating, to the business per the instruction of my tax attorney. So it could be, the cost of a video game, the cost of a subscription for a video game, a microtransaction within a video game, the cost of a piece of new equipment, maintenance on said equipment every month. It could be the internet, cost of internet every month. It could be cost of, utilities necessary for the business, cost of cell phone for the business. All those things would be included.
Please stop. Go ahead.
And basically anything related to my internet content creation, including, like I said, cost of video games, cost of subscription-based services, microtransactions within video games, cost of internet.
Keep going. We'll try to ignore the beeping.
Sorry?
I just said keep going, and we'll try and ignore that beeping sound.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm hitting upon most of it. Basically anything that is related to me creating content on the internet, whether it's the on-demand videos or the live streaming. And, there's many factors, including not only the cost of the video games, but the internet and microtransactions and all kinds of things that happen within, the realm of gaming.
Okay. Are you currently married?
Yes.
Your wife joining in this petition?
No.
Do you have any assets that are not listed on these documents?
No.
A recent marriage.
Yeah.
It's a pretty recent marriage, so these deaths were basically separate.
Pretty recent as to when were you married?
April of 2019.
Okay, I have no further questions. Are there creditors on the line?
Hello?
Yes, are you a creditor?
No, sorry, that was me. You cut out, so I just wanted to make sure you were still there.
Okay. Are there any creditors on the line? Okay, your name, please? Oh, your last name? And you're with Citibank? Do you have questions you want to ask, Mr. Burnell?
Did you realize you needed to file this case?
We filed.
Well, no, when did you realize you needed to file? I think is what you asked.
So it'll be a little bit earlier. And I was considering that.
Met in October.
Right. So, okay, I would say middle of 2019 was basically, when I realized there was no way that I was going to be able to handle, what was going on financially in my life anymore. There was no way to get out of it.
Okay, but when did you actually stop using your credit cards, though? Like that's the first part of that situation. And then October of 2019 is when you decided, yeah, there's no way I'm gonna be able to keep up my lifestyle, and I can't keep up with all this credit card debt. So that was it. But doesn't Kat have a job? And hasn't Kat been working? And hasn't Kat been contributing to the business? Interesting. Sorry, contributing to their life, not the business. My bad. You know what I mean?
On the line who have unmuted their phones, please mute until you're ready to speak. Yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Ellis.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? You cut out. Yes, for a few more months. And like, as my bankruptcy attorney just stated, we filed in October. And so...
No, we met in October.
Oh, no, that's right. When when did we file?
About January.
In January. We met in October. And upon the initial discussion with my bankruptcy attorney, I was told at that point, completely discontinue use of all, lines of credit. And I did. But I would say probably up until that discussion with my bankruptcy attorney in October of 2019, I was still, actively using lines of credit and making payments towards the credit.
Okay. And do you still have any purchases?
So before this guy comes in, so I realized I needed to file for bankruptcy in October. I met up with my attorney to talk about what my options were in October, despite the fact that I was still using my credit card and still making credit card payments. But you didn't actually file until January, I think is what he said. All right, just to get the story right.
From those lines of credit in your possession, or did you sell them, or where's that property now?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? You cut out yet again.
Sure. The purchase that you made with your credit lines following your realization that you were insolvent, do you still have those purchases?
It's cutting out, but keep going. The purchases that were made with the credit line.
Yes, the purchases that he made with the credit line after realizing he was insolvent. Does he still have that property in his possession?
Most of the purchases that I would have made with any kind of lines of credit would have been things such as groceries, that kind of stuff. It's not like I was buying anything
Wait.
significant.
Bad answer. He should have said I was using them for monthly expenses. Groceries, paying my bills as it pertains to, the cable, electricity, so on and so forth, the subscription services for my business, so on and so forth. He should have said that. You don't just say for my groceries and, stuff like that. You got to be a bit more specific about stuff like that. I don't know. At least that's what I think. Because he should realize, him and his attorney should realize that, there's a whole lot of doubt going on right now. You're not exactly swaying things in her way, or in your way, I should say. So you kind of need to come out the gates with a little bit more information. This is not the time to be hiding shit.
For personal property or anything like that. Now, if you have specific questions about, prep purchases, obviously I could talk with you behind the scenes about that. I don't know.
Why are you talking to him behind the scenes? Why can't you just speak about it right now? More importantly, theoretically, he's right. You do own some of the property that you use because, for example, if you were using it to spend on games, he has those games. Even if it's digital, just because he deletes it off of his console doesn't mean it's not on his account. He can re-download it at any given time. So he still owns that. And if it's all, I still own it, it's part of the business, then that's business related.
You're referencing, but I did not make, if you're, trying to basically say that I bought a bunch of stuff and I still have it, it only would have been business related stuff or necessities like grocery shopping and things like that, to my knowledge.
Okay. And the other question,
to your knowledge, if that was the case, I would be like, are you the only one who uses those credit cards? Are you the only one who spends on those credit cards? Just throwing it out there. Is your wife attached to those credit cards? Is she like an authorized user? Did she make purchases that you didn't see? Do you not look through your credit card statements each and every month? Sorry, that's just the asshole in me.
If it was business related stuff, I heard you mention that you had a lot of equipment, PS4s, things like that. You're saying that you owned these prior to realizing that you were insolvent, correct?
When you think about that, I would say yes. That's correct.
Okay. And
yes.
And other business expenses like purchasing games for your streaming content company. You purchase these games also with. Let me just reword that. Have you purchased any games since October?
Since October, yes.
On credit lines, are you specifically referring to? Or
yes, on credit lines. Well, I'm trying to establish where insolvency was realized so that we can sort of come to an understanding that any purchases made on credit post-insolvency wouldn't be dischargeable?
Yeah, no, I did not make any purchases on credit after my initial conversation with my bankruptcy attorney in October.
Okay.
But you did say that you were still using your credit card actively and still making payments throughout the month of October. Did you not say that?
Sure. Another thing too. So you made all these purchases for these equipment systems. I'm assuming that's the bulk of your business expenses, as far as, you know, having to buy the equipment, having to buy the games, things like that. Reviewing your filing, it looks like you stated here that you have about $5,000 a month in business expenses. Can you itemize that for me?
Hold on. But yeah, I don't think these.
First off, he can't, and we know why he can't, because he wraps his personal expense into his business expense. So you think his mortgage, any of his basically monthly expenses, lights, cable, stuff like that, he wrapped all of that into his expenses, all of it, which is one of the reasons why it's theorized that he was able to get away. Because he had that type of leverage, because everything is essentially put together, which you could say that was a pretty good move on his attorney's part to do so. But yet again, whatever.
Nancy, I'm not sure
And the reason why Phil went quiet right here is because Phil's going ahead and telling her, I think this guy's a troll. I think he's a troll. He's asking for too much information. You know, that's exactly what he did. The moment Phil gets quiet in these calls, it's usually because he's sitting there, either whether he's in the office with his attorney or he's reaching out to her on another line, being like, hey, I think this guy right here might be a troll. The thing is he's just making, I mean, isn't this the whole point of the 341 call? At least this segment of it is for the creditors to ask questions. What's the problem? And the fact that he was starting to get a bit touchy about some of that already should be red flags. Or that should, you know, raise red flags, I should say.
for Citibank.
I'm sorry, excuse me?
I'm not sure. Are you? I'm
calling
Are
out.
you really-
I'm calling representing Citibank. Yes, Citibank. What are you talking about?
right. Are you an attorney or what's your position at Citibank? Or
I work in collections.
this doesn't seem.
This seems like a sort of an attempt to back out of answering the very transparent question reviewing these files, which is that he has $5,000 a month in business expenses, which does not make any sense.
In collections at Citibank appear on a case, so this seems a little strange. We'll answer the questions, but
Okay,
it's just.
great.
I mean, we've been answering the questions.
Hold on just a second. Where are you seeing $5,000 a month on business expenses?
He's listed over $5,000 a month on expenses, so he's got $5,000 a month in income, $5,000 a month in expenses, and basically the gross income that he's claiming that he's making is $35.
Yeah, that was actually a really good catch, or that was a really good point for him to bring up, because obviously the trustee was like, "What? Where'd you what? Like, where'd you see that at?" Yet again, there's this shit stinks to fucking high heaven. It's very obvious, and the fact that he still slipped away, he still slithered away on his natural piggy juices it's wild, amusing but wild.
Okay, so
Wait,
you're looking
I'm
at
sorry.
INJ.
I'm referring to his initial bankruptcy filing.
Okay.
Yes.
So where are the $5,000 a month in business expenses?
I think
I've already explained.
Let me
Explain it again, bitch. Talk about I've already explained. No, you'll explain it as many times as I ask you to. You're under oath. You know what I'm saying? Explain it again. What's the problem? Do you not remember what you said? Did you not write it down? Explain it again. And I think what happens is Phil's afraid he's going to slip up. And he's already agitated too. And you know when Phil gets agitated, shit slips out that's not supposed to slip out.
Because I think you might be looking at it a little bit wrong. And maybe if I could give you a little bit of clarification as to the way these forms are intended to be used, that might answer something, and then you can ask your question again.
Sure.
Schedule J asks him to list out various expenses he has. This is a personal bankruptcy. And so he's listed things like rent and food and utilities and clothing, things like that. As I'm seeing the schedule, that totals up to be about 5,000, a little bit, excuse me, a little bit more than that. Is that the number that you're referring to as business expenses?
Yes, if that's claimed as personal expenses instead, I would still like to get an idea of how exactly he itemizes that. Because the amount of income that I'm seeing, he's claiming that it varies, but the time that he filed, it just happened to be during a very high spike in expenses, which doesn't really make any sense to me.
Okay, do you have the schedule? Who is this?
As long as we've established that he's realized that he was insolvent in October, that's really all I needed. So it's fine.
I mean, I don't want to cut your questions off. I'm just trying to make sure that you're understanding the forms the way they're intended.
Right, I understand. He's claiming that he's got $5,000 a month in expenses and only $5,000 a month in income, and nets about $35, which still doesn't really make any sense to me when he's claiming that he gets $1,000 from YouTube, $4,000 from Twitch. That's $5,000 right there. But then he's also claiming that he gets these donations or tips or whatever it is through his stream itself, which is separate from the service paying him for streaming.
Okay, I understand.
And let's not also forget about Patreon, Teespring, and some of the other things that he draws money from as well.
Have a further explanation, Mr. Burnell?
I've already broken down how my expenses work. I don't know what this gentleman is referencing specifically.
They already explained he already explained it. And Nancy kind of already reiterated it to you as well, which is the reason why she's asking you to answer the question. What's the problem?
All the information is there, so I don't know exactly what he's looking for. I don't understand. I don't understand.
I'm just asking you to explain your expenses.
Which we've done.
Which we've done. So why are you asking again?
I do not see anywhere that adds up to $5,000.
Which we've done. Why are you asking again? Angry Snort. Matter of fact, and this is something that I'm sure has been pointed out over some of these interesting interviews we've gone over and some of these other circumstances. Where the fuck is the snorting at? What happened to that post-nasal drip? What happened to, I have to snort because if I don't, I'm going to choke? Because all this fluid is going down the back of my throat. Ew. Where's all of that at, ladies and gentlemen? It almost comes across like he's just a disgusting bastard and he treats his audience like fucking serfs and he subjects them to shit that amuses him. That's kind of what it seems like. Because he's been pretty good on this call so far. Defiant sniff.
Expenses monthly. Or that warrants paying extra money for video games and things post-October when you realize that you were insolvent.
Right, but what you're talking about is strictly related to Citibank purchases, if I'm understanding.
Not really.
Correctly.
He's asking about the case as a whole. When you come in for an inquiry like this, you don't have to just ask about what's related to your company, but you could ask about anything in general. His behavior may very well be different for each and every case or for every client that he may be associated with. So, I mean, asking any or all of those questions would make sense. Because if that was the case, then why are all of these banks allowed to come onto this call? Why isn't there an individual one-on-one with each bank respectfully, depending on the amount of accounts and the amount of money he owes on each one of those accounts? You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't sit there and just say, oh, you can only inquire about Citibank because you're with Citibank. Why, if that's the case, then why are we not on a private call then? Why is it that Bank of America can show up? Why is it that BMW, through the credit card he has with them, Why is it that they're allowed to attend this meeting? Why is, you know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like, why is it all these different creditors can pop up into this meeting if I can only acquire or inquire about something that's related to my company or the company that I'm representing? That just seems a little, that just seems a little bit off-putting.
You're wondering if there were any purchases after October on the Citibank cards, but you have access
I'm
to
asking
those
about
statements.
any cards, any lines of credit. I'm trying to figure out when he realized he was insolvent, if he continued making credit purchases after that time.
It's funny too. I see people in the, if you guys are watching the chat, if you're watching, if you're off doing other things, don't worry about it. But in the chat there, it's people saying that, is that LSBS LSB? This guy doesn't sound anything like LSB, to be honest with you. Not at all. His voice does sound familiar though, but it doesn't sound like LSB though.
We've
His tone
already-
is slightly deeper.
He's already stated that he is not.
Okay, as long as
So
that's
I'm-
on the record. Great, thank you.
That was on the record, yes,
Thank you.
earlier.
Okay, do you have any other questions?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Are there other creditors on the phone who want to ask questions? Now would be the time to unmute and ask a question and identify yourself. If there are no further people on the phone who are going to ask questions or identify themselves, I have no further questions. Is that someone jumping in? Okay.
Why am I poisoned? Why am I toxic?
Ms. Sheffield, do you have the identification information with you?
I do. I'm looking at a Washington State driver's license, which is correct, and I'm also looking at a Social Security card, and the number matches that on the petition.
Okay, there appears to be no further creditors who are asking questions. I have no further questions. You are excused, and you may hang up. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was easy.
Situation.
The leader has disconnected. This conference will now end.
Piggies at the courthouse, get up to my eyebrows. I got 14 credit cards, I'll never pay them off now. Cars, statues, condo fees, moving across the country. I did nothing wrong, and cat that bitch agrees with me.
Oh, that's a. That was amusing. That was absolutely fucking amusing. Okay. Wow. Wow. Oh my god. I guess I gotta get, ladies and gentlemen, I understand that it was kind of disappointing how the result was. We'll talk about that briefly. It is what it was. There's a bunch of red flags there. There really was. It's really, this right here represents what I believe is the general synopsis of DSP, Darksydephil, Phil Burnell, Dark Geppetto's whole life. It was all circumstance. It was all right place, right time. He got lucky. He legit got lucky, and it was only because of his circumstances. Anybody, I think, if COVID-19 wasn't going on, I think Nancy would have gone straight at his motherfucking neck, and she probably would have cut his fucking neck off, or will cut his head off. Because there's more than enough here to make her doubtful. Even with the other creditors not showing up, even with that one individual coming in, he made an interesting point, and I'm sure it carried some weight. Watching Phil and his, or not watching, but hearing Phil and his attorney squirm was fucking amazing. That was delicious. That might be some of the best bacon I've ever had. That was yummy. Yummy. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, give me a chance. Give me a chance to go ahead and clean up, and we'll reconvene for final thoughts, and I'll see you guys at the next time I should see you guys at the quarterly meeting. Alright, I'll see you guys in just a second. Holy shit. Let's see, how do we play this out? Yeah, that's fitting. I think the first song was good. This should work out.
Picking out my fro with my fist comb. I got a tab at the stone, baby, this long. My little brother was having a little trouble. I hope that he doesn't care that it's in this song. Koreatown lunch and talking about how to run things. He said Atlanta wanted something. Waka G's in your future got the streets locked down. Copycats making sure Tip keep that crown. I'm fucking around with the truth. Went to see the roots. Quest brought me back on stage in a suit. I went hard cause niggas say that I'm soft. Even Black Dog.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my god. Alright, so that was at least my hot take, if you will, on the 341 call. There was a lot riding on this, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, as it pertains to the detractor community in general. This was the type of trouble that most people generally don't walk away with, especially if you're a fuckboy like Darksydephil. And yet he got away. And it was really only because of circumstance. If this was a year prior, nah, he'd been. I think he'd been screwed at least a little bit. He would have taken there'd have been way more pushback. He's a small fish, though. When you look at it as a whole, he was a small fish compared to what the circumstances were. It is what it is. The Nick Rekieta, there are actually there's two more videos. They're both done by Nick Rekieta when they went over the filing, and then he had another one. I think Josh from Kiwi Farms was on that, and then there was another one that was kind of interesting too. Maybe we'll do those. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. But those were pretty interesting. He gets Nick Rekieta gets more into the technical side of it. It might be a good listen to. You guys have probably already heard it before. A second look or a second listen, I don't think would hurt anybody. That'll probably be for a later time and date, but that might be interesting either which way. At the end of the day, though, ladies and gentlemen, what happened is what happened. There was a lot of bullshit that went on in there. There was a lot of things that I didn't catch my first listen, so that opens up the pig pen a little more to me, and some things that I'm going to want to question moving forward. But it still had value, to be honest. Did he squirm away with this? Yeah, he did. He absolutely fucking got away. At the end of the day, that's not the end-all be-all. You know what I'm saying? Phil's success doesn't justify, nor does it solidify anything that I do or any other detractor does. At the end of the day, we're supposed to sit here and laugh at him, and I want him to keep going. Let me state this very clearly right now. I don't hate Darksydephil. I hate what he does. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate how, and when I mean what he does, I mean how he treats people and shit. I hate that. But at the same time, I don't hate him. So I want him to keep going along. Whether they carry him or whether he's hobbling on whatever hoof is still available to him. I'm perfectly okay with going ahead and driving down the street and laughing at his ass on that. All day. Let him try to persevere. Let all these wheelchair symbols and all these pedophiles and all these other people who want to keep protecting Phil, let them keep carrying him. I'll laugh at him every minute of it, to be honest. And I'll watch each and every one of you guys who support Phil get broken down piece by piece, right? Until he's able to try to replace you, until he can't find any more replacements. I am perfectly content with all of that. So please, keep fighting. Keep fighting for him, for your High Lord of Snorts. Keep believing his bullshit. Keep believing that this is a you versus me type thing. Because it's not. I don't care. I really don't. He's my objective. He's what I like to laugh at. You guys are merely just part of the show, to be honest. And as far as I'm concerned, I can't even consider any of you supporting actors or actresses. I don't even consider that. You guys are just background people. You guys are nameless individuals that mean not a goddamn thing to me and have no value whatsoever, to be honest. And I can say that because that's what he believes with you guys. That's how he looks at you. So why would I look at you with any more value if he can't look at you with any more value? Just saying. And if I'm just a brainless detractor that's just an asshole, the fuck should I care about any about any of you and any of your well-beings. If you guys don't care about any of your own well-beings. Jesus Christ, you guys are so quick to stab each other. There's a reason why I call you guys the Gestapo chat over there. And there's a reason why detractors before me and those that will come after me call it the Nazi chat. You guys are no different than Hitler's inner circle, stabbing each other over the most pettiest shit. And then you guys go into this Hallmark cards and bubblegum shit when all you guys get expelled, which is crazy. And then you guys, even when you guys, most of you guys, get expelled, you guys still crawl back, like Swaggins. That shit is pathetic. And the thing is, at least with Swaggins, I never thought you would drop to the level of like Waifu Destroyer Matt. I never thought you'd get there. I certainly thought you were bitch made, but I never thought you were going to go there. And you ain't went ahead and gone past that. The one chance you had to be a man and do the right thing for yourself, you did it. And then you went right back to the porch. Went right back to the porch. God damn. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. And like I said, I'll see you guys for the quarterly meeting, and then, you know, I'll see you eventually after that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News, always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Networking Productions for the Snort Report and Hard Snort's Gin and Tonic, that toxic flavor that never waver. I have been your host, /anchor GTG, and I'm signing off. Take care of yourselves, guys. And remember, it's all supposed to be for fun. End of broadcast.
Picking out my fro with my fist comb. I got a tab at the stone, baby, this long. My little brother was having a little trouble. I hope that he doesn't care that it's in this song. Koreatown lunch and talking about how to run things. He said Atlanta wanted something. Waka G's in your future got the streets locked down. Copycats making sure Tip keep that crown. I'm fucking around with the truth. Went to see the roots. Quest brought me back on stage in a suit. I went hard cause niggas say that I'm soft. Even Black thought I'm aiming a little hard. I gotta be honest. Feeling like the other stuff is kinda behind us. Making jokes here and there, then got us some dollars. Trying to show the whole world what it is and it ain't a game. He said, homie, stay the course, ain't shit changed.